You know, I just can't take it anymore. It's, I just, I just, I, it's, I just having a day. Just a moment. I need something. I need something. I need a purpose. And, I know it's stupid, but I know it's massively stupid. Absolutely stupid. But sometimes, every once in a while, it's nice to complain about something massively stupid. It doesn't matter in the scheme of things. It's not the life stress. It's not the bill, or it's not a repair that needs to be done, or it's not a car that's been broke down, or it's not a relative or someone in the family that's it's one of those insignificant, stupid little things. And every once in a while, it's nice, or not nice, to itch and bitch about something so microscopically stupid it really doesn't matter at all. But I need something. And I've been I need a reason, to just a small stupid reason. And if I could use some subscribers, by the way. Oh, and this is the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Carrier, This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy stuff going on here. And I was consumed by reading books, and I don't watch TV. I read books and play stupid games on Facebook. And 3 of the games are owned by the same company, and the games disappeared. Apparently, they didn't update their licenses or whatever, and the games probably will not come back, because there were 2 previous versions of the games that haven't been seen since 2023. So obviously, these new ones are not coming back either. So it was just something stupid to bitch about. And I'm also over it with these books. I bought these books at full price, and I was determined 100% to read these books because I purchased these books. And I got to book, let's see. Oh, here it is. 7. And there was a 7.5. There was an ebook. And I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked and looked and looked. And I couldn't find the ebook for free. And I did not like the series enough to spend the 2. I bought all of these books at full price, and I did not like the series enough to spend $3 on 150 pages that I knew was going to be at least 50 pages of sex. It just, So we moved on to book 8. And it's a little, I'm itching and bitching about the time frame again. Oh, and hey, before I forget, hey, Selena, thank you for being there for me every single day and watching every single video. You don't know how much that means to me, because you are the only one. You're the only one that's out there, Selena. Just to tell you the truth, you are the only one that's out there. So anyways, let me get back to this. So, oh, hello. Oh, you know what else? I wanted to show. I think I showed it back a couple months ago. Wait a minute, come here. You coming over here? You coming over here? Got this present from a friend of mine. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. We don't often get a visit from the Munchkin. So here we are. This is Miss Sandy. This is Miss Sandy. We usually don't get visits from her. Our sister's asleep over there. So anyways, you pause a whip. We have 2 water dishes. One for drinking and one for bathing. One of our old senior citizen cats, who is no longer with us, but she was here for the first couple of years of Sandy's life, for whatever reason, could not make. So I'm just assuming. I don't really know, but could not clean herself properly. So she used the water dish. So we put out the 2 water dishes because she liked to take a bath in the water dish. And she taught that talent to Sandy, and Sandy does it. Sandy loves water. And one day she's going to get in the shower. I swear it. She sits there and looks at it. And we bought one of those little blue things. There's a couple of videos out there someplace. A friend of mine gave us this little blue fountain thingy. Sandy likes to take the whole thing apart. She likes to see the water bubbling in the thing. She doesn't want to see the fountain part where it shoots the water out. She wants to see the actual water underneath bubble. Don't know. So, anyways, back to the book, which I just can't. I'm just over it. I'm so over it. So the forward is in 312, and then the prologue goes back 6 years to 306, and then the chapter 1 is 312. And my book, my cup here, that a friend of mine, I'm never gonna use it. I will never use this. I'm just gonna use it as a display piece. But anyways, I said this before, and it's still true now. If the thing had started here, if this had been like year 1 of the war, and then this had been year 2, and maybe a couple of books, because a couple of them she does confess to writing like back to back really, really quickly, like within less than a year. And then this one was like year 3. If they had a sequential timeline and had more historical stuff, it might have been good. I do like the author notes at the end. I like those the best. But the books, and they're all naked guys on the cover, by the way. So hey, remember February, naked guy on the cover? Go check out that if then. If they weren't following the same plan each day, each book, it's just, I'm over it. You know, when I first did these 20 years ago, I guess it is 20 years ago, I was compiling and transcribing genealogical records, and I shouldn't have done that as long as I did. I regret that forever, that I did it as long as I did. I should have had a real job. I should have been out there in the real world. I wouldn't be in this position today if I had gone back in the job sooner. But, and I did these by audiobook, and I just recently, I needed the book space. I got rid of all the other audiobooks. But I remember liking these books quite a bit. I don't like these books anymore. I just don't. The angst, the relationship angst overrides the historical context. It's like pulling teeth. It's like, read a chapter, put it down. Read a chapter, put it down. Read a chapter, put it down. Oh, sex. Let's just skip this chapter. Oh, wait a minute. There's another chapter of sex. Let's skip that chapter. It's just not the same. So, we have Robbie, and they're out on this, doing their warrior thing, and they capture Rosalind and her nephew. And they're like, oh, we can use these as hostages for this thing. So, they kidnap the kid and Rosalind. And they treat them pretty good. They're okay. And Robbie slowly but surely falls in love with Rosalind. Rosalind, in one of their stays, ties a bunch of sheets together and has her nephew climb out the window and use the sheets to get to the ground, and he escapes back to his uncle. or his dad actually, because Clifford is Roz's brother. And slowly but surely, Robbie and Rosalind fall in love. And, that old forbidden kiss, blah, blah, blah. We shouldn't have done it. I've got this worry thing going, blah, 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 blah. And, uh, so then he's kind of upset. His men are upset that they lost the son. But that's okay. They still got Roz. And then there's a couple of misunderstandings. And, he's like, I shouldn't be doing this. Because he eventually finds out she's betrothed. And she's like, I don't want to be married to this guy. I want to be married to you. So it takes a couple of chapters to get him to come around. It's just, he tells her about his childhood. He tells her. And, the big point in the book is the beginning. I forgot. In the beginning. When Robbie was captured many, 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 many years ago and put in the pit when Rosalind was a young teenager, she helped him escape because she felt sorry for them. And so 10 years later, she's an adult, and she recognizes Robbie for who he was. And she's like, you owe me one. And you should let me go. But he's like, I can't because you're a good thing. Then, of course, they end up falling in love. So that was one of the angst parts. There's always several angst parts. The historicalness wasn't there as much. There was a lot of bit of back and forth. I just wasn't into. I just couldn't gather any enthusiasm for it, and I feel horrible about that. So we've got. Let's see what's here. We've got Arrow and Striker. Right. Let's see, 9 and 10, and I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna take a break for a second. And I wanted an easy, enjoyable read. These are the last two. I forget which order. The Ghost and the Rock are the last two. So there's 4 more books in the series, but I've got a couple other ones that I might head to. If you saw my to be read pile the other day, I did forget one. I did miss one. I was shifting books around. I'm like, oh, I should have included this in my if then pile the other day. But so you might see this one, or I might do this one. We'll see how this goes. It's a standalone. It's not a trilogy. It's a standalone. And this is the first one in a new series. And this is another standalone. I'm not sure yet. Give me an hour or two. I'll think about it. And then this is the first one in a new series that we talked about also. So, that's about it. I'm just not into it anymore. I've just totally lost it. But just as a little extra, I gotta go do some Outlander. Nope. Is there an author's note in this? Let's see. Just want to take a look. Author's notes. Sir Robert Boyd is probably the most well-known historical figure of the Guardsmen I will write about. He plays a large part in the Wars of Independence, fighting alongside both William Wallace and Robert the Bruce, with his name mentioned a number of times by the important chronicles, including Barbara and Blind Harry. Blind Harry refers to Boyd over 20 times and calls him wise and strong, which inspired his place among my Highland Guard as the strongest man in Scotland. I debated on whether to make Boyd a guardsman because there was so much known about him, except conveniently by whom he married. but he is such a compelling figure I couldn't resist. To me, he is William Wallace type of freedom fighter and serves as an important link connecting Bruce to Wallace. Boyd was probably born a few years earlier than I suggested, about 1275. His father, or possibly his grandfather, was a hero of the Barg of Logs in 63, and his family was rewarded with land and a barony in Nodsdale in Ayrshire. Boyd's father, also Robert Boyd, is said to have been one of Scotland's nobles who was called to meeting by the English and treacherously murdered at the Barns of Ayr, an event immortalized in the movie Braveheart. In reprisal, Wallace later trapped the English garrison in the barns and set fire. I combined the events in the novel for Boyd's father's death. Wallace is said to have left Boyd in charge of his army while he was away, helping the Boyd clan earn its motto of Confido, as well as the nickname of Trusty Boyds, for their loyalty to the Scottish cause for independence. Boyd fought faithfully beside Wallace, his boyhood companion, and some should suggest his kinsman, until the latter's death in 1305. Boyd was also one of the early supporters of Robert the Bruce and fought loyally alongside him for the duration of the war, even serving as one of his commanders in the key battle of Bannockburn, which will be featured in this book. As Blind Harry says of Boyd at Bannock, History of the Countess of Ayr and Winnington, Volume 3 by James Patterson, 1866, ranged on the right, the Suzerain Legion stood, and their fiery Edward rode, with the experience of Boyd divides. Boyd may have been with Bruce and Sir Roger de Patrick at Greyfriars Mount Street in Dumfries 1306, sorry. When Bruce was stabbed, John the Red Common before the altars, launching his bid for the crown. The schooling and military leanings I gave Boyd in the novel are actually based on Wallace's early life. Wallace is reputed to have Sir Hannibal and attended school in Stirling at Cambuskeness and Abbey, where his uncle was a clergyman, and then at a popular school in Dundee taught by William Myford, who is believed to have fostered Wallace's fever liberty. Interesting, Wallace met Duncan of Lorne and Neil Campbell, Arthur Ranger Campbell, at school in Dundee. Both would later join him in the rebellion. Rosalind is the fictional sister of Sir Robert Clifford, first Baron Clifford, who was one of the most important English commanders in the war against Scotland. Clifford's mother was a great heiress, and while the genealogical charts aren't consistent, they never are. Most suggest that he was an only child. Clifford's father died fighting in Wales when Clifford was 7 or 8, and his wardship was held by the king's brother Edmund of Cornwall, the Earl of Gloucester, and eventually King Edward I. Clifford's military career in Scotland begins in 1296 with raids in Annandale, Bruce's lands, and Annan, and he appears in many battles over the years until his death at Bannock in 1314. But he is probably most remembered for his enmity with Sir James the Black Douglas. The fight over Douglas lands would launch a feud between the Cliffords and Douglases that would last for over 100 years. Although Clifford was fighting the Bruce and rebels at the time of the prologue in Raider, his name doesn't appear in the Siege of Kildrummy. Probably was imprisoned but immediately dismantled after Edward, Prince of Wales, the future Edward II, and Amor. It was treachery of the blacksmith's Osmus Sea Viper that was responsible for the castle's fall, Boyd's imprisonment, and Nigel's subsequent execution. So, there you go. Naked guy on the cover. So, we'll see about these. I bought them. I spent the money on them. But, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? I need to think. Let's see. I just want to experiment. Nope. Same thing. Oh well. Have a good one.